Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Me and Gerry today, and we're going to be talking about Komi-san wa communication shogai desu, aka Comey can't communicate. So, Komi-san, for short, is a weekly manga in Shonen Sunday, one of those big magazines. We got Detective Conan, Inuyasha, Magi, Kenichi. You know, we got some strong hitters in this magazine. Zatch Bell was in this one, too. I didn't even know that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Written and drawn by Tomohito Oda. This started in May 2016. It's still ongoing. And actually, before this was a manga, it was a one-shot. I don't know if you checked that one out, Gerry.
The one-shot? I feel like I did, but I gotta go back to and look at it again. I remember discovering this on one of the Facebook pages, and I just really liked the art style, and like I basically felt a wholesome vibe from just like one panel. So I'm like, all right, it's way different than our One Piece or freaking Beelzebub. That's Beelzebub for anybody listening. And yeah, dude, it's different. It's a breath of fresh air,
Yeah, man, it's pretty wholesome manga, like you're saying. So let's go ahead and get into this premise real quick, starring one of our main characters here, Komi. She has a problem with communicating with people. She has a tough time talking to people face to face, so she rarely talks.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
Very relatable to some people, for a lot of people now. So it's like you kind of, well, at first, you kind of think it's like that manga where it's like, oh, this guy's trying to just fool this girl, the guy being the other main character, Tadano.
Tadano, yeah.
And then, I don't know, he came across as aloof towards like that whole cold personality attitude that everybody else feels from that shit. Feels from Comey. I have to reread that part too, just to see like how he viewed her at first, because the only way I could think of is like his little sister, who pretty much doesn't give a shit that Comey's brother doesn't really want her around, and giving off mad like leave me alone vibes. That's how I think like it started in the beginning too, with Tadano and Comey. And yeah,
Tadano, he the way he starts off in the series is trying to be the relatable guy, and then it gets super awkward, and then he's like, oh, I want friends too, guys, come on. And he just happens to sit next to Komi-san, and they're in the same class together. The only reason they start talking is because he fell asleep in class, and she stayed in the class with him because they had like I think it was like PE or something right after, and she didn't want him to miss it out because she's a very kind person as well. That's how we get set up in the first, I think it's like 5 chapters. This manga's weird, right? Because each chapter's in the beginning is like 8 pages long, 6 pages long.
It's like a 4 coma, isn't it?
It's like a comic strip, basically, on like newspapers.
Yeah.
So they start talking here. It's basically the same premise as the one-shot. The one-shot plays it out differently. I think they're both good in their own. But yeah, so she starts explaining, drawing on the chalkboard about communication disorder and how she has no friends, and some nice background for her. It gets a little sad, right? And then him being the nice guy starts writing on the chalkboard as well. And there's this spread out panel where they're both drawing, having a conversation on the chalkboard. And
yeah, it's really sweet. It's like that version of, I guess, like let's say you meet somebody new and you're both socially awkward as hell. It might be like better to just text each other and to really get to know each other that way. I thought that was sweet that way, because she's trying to get on her level with communicating and try to figure out what's more comfortable with her. Like you said in the beginning, completely relatable. It had a pretty awesome moment.
Yeah, it was pretty good stuff. And she explains, he asks her, what's your dream? And her dream is to make 100 friends. Because, again, she never really had friends in middle school days.
Because anime. 100 friends.
And anime. Yeah, that too. And so he's like, oh, okay, well, if it's all right with you, I would like to be your first friend. Let's help you get 100. So that's basically the premise, for the most part, of this series, is to help Comey be able to communicate better her social life, and as well make up to 100 friends before they graduate, I guess. Yeah, pretty much that's it for the most part. Very slice of life here. We get introduced to a bunch of characters, right? It's like, oh, well, here's this week's new friend. Let me tell you, some of these characters, man, they crack me up.
They make the manga, man. These characters are so good. Like, those are just her classmates, and then they go on to different other classes in the same grade. It's just so good. It's so wholesome for everybody, and they're just, these characters are just like everybody has like a weird personality to them, and it stays like they're not just a one-off. Like you see them later on in the manga, and it's also breath of fresh air to just realize like, oh, I remember you were in like a chapter 50. So that's fun. They're not disposable. Like that's pretty much a world everybody lives in.
Yeah, I mean, even later down the line, right, as we enter the second year of high school for our characters, we get thrown with a bunch of new ones, right, because everybody's shuffling through classes, but we still get to come back to some of the older characters. And I like that because, every time you have a school premise, when it comes to like a classroom of characters, you tend to forget a lot, or some just feel generic, and I'm glad that the writing here is not like that. One character to talk about is goddamn Najimi.
Oh yeah, bro.
This
that's everybody's friend. He's so good.
This guy, quote unquote, right, is
he's so cool that she's that I guess that non-binary character where everybody just like switches up the pronoun like it's nothing, and it's like that's cool. They can't really decide. They call him like a her, but then when she does something, it's like that. They kind of just switch it up like on the fly. Like it's not a big deal. This motherfucker though, dude.
Dude, yeah, Najimi has too much energy in this goddamn series. Every time popping up on the panels, I was like, oh my god, man.
There's never a sad moment when she's around.
No.
It's like or dull, you know what I mean? It's like there's always something up her sleeve, you know what I mean? It's like there's always something in it for him.
So this is a really enjoyable series. I laughed a lot more than I expected in here. I knew there was some humor because you've read this way before I did, and I remember we would see those shots of Comey because like just the way she's drawn, right, and like not a chibi form, but like I guess in a simpler way they draw her, where it's just the eyes and no mouth.
Simpler fashion, yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
No mouth, just big ol' eyes.
Yeah, when the art's like that, it's really good.
Big unassuming eyes, like almost like a deer, like almost born.
Deer in headlights.
Like,
yeah.
But then like there's that. My favorite one is when like you just see the cat ears come up on her, excited to do something. She's like, "Yeah, I'll do this." It's adorable just seeing her struggle with like simple things. Like remember how it was I think there was one where she was trying to buy something from somebody, like coffee.
Yeah, it was Najimi was just like, "Hey, can you buy me this super complex latte, or I won't be your friend anymore?" And so she starts freaking out and tries to go to Starbucks. Yeah, and then and of course the best parts is like the shake lines drawn onto her.
Oh yeah.
She
so
just
good, like you can tell she's just like almost about to explode from anxiety.
So our other main character here, Tadano, he's a very average guy. I thought a lot of Monster Musume when it came to his design as it slowly changes through the course of the series. I like his design. I don't know about you, but that little like star patch on his hair. I just look at it and I'm like, do we really need this though?
I see what you mean, but like other than that, what else does he have? I'm not trying to be mean, but like that's literally what his character's portrayed to be. Like he's really just normal as hell, except for this latest chapter. What was it? 250. This one, it kind of like, but even still, like he just said something that is like completely normal, and everybody took it as perverted. But it's funny.
Yeah,
that's boys. That's boys themselves. But like, yeah, like Tadano is like, I don't know, man. If it wasn't for the fact that he was the main character, he'd probably just be like side characters, or like unassuming. I don't know that guy. I don't know his name, but the one who pops up and says something like really monotone every once in a while. The one whose speech bubble is always just a text box.
Oh, he's kind of like a translator for the show off guy. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I myself, I like the white hair. Does the sister have that same kind of patch?
I don't think so.
Not?
No. She has like just like the hair ties in her twin tails, and that's kind of it. But yeah, a lot of Nisekoi vibes I got from this, minus the harem. side of that series.
Oh, yeah.
Very wholesome, and like just how our main characters kind of are. It's a good read through for sure. Like I said before, it's roughly 6-8 pages for the most part. As soon as like they decide, okay, let's push this plot forward hard, because it's mainly just like, oh, here's the new school day and what happens here. But now it's like, okay, let's try to move this plot forward with some actual structure. We're starting to get like 19-20 page chapters here, standard stuff for weekly mangas. That's what I thought. That's when I thought, I'm like, yeah, this series is really getting good now.
You'll see some events that are just 2-parters, and that's when you know when it's like, oh, there's something good is gonna happen in these next few chapters. Something that maybe has been looming over the students for a while, and then it gets exposed, and like, or like they talk about the elephant in the room in like a 2-part chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And the last few chapters, right, from where we're reading, latest chapter was 250. Those are some pretty big arcs, and I was like, this is totally worth. It's really great to see the build up with our characters here as we move forward.
Like, I'm pretty sure even if you haven't read it, you'll soon come to find out that it's not that she's mute; she can actually speak. It's just it's hard for her to actually talk and like project. Mm-hmm. But our girl has come a long way.
Yes, she has.
She's grown up.
And like other mangas of this sort, right, we do tend to stray from our main characters for other stories. And I think those are great, right? Because as we're introduced to her family. Great.
Oh my, can we talk about her parents, dude?
Yes.
Oh my god, that shit is so good, man. It's so good. Like, her mom looks just like her, but is like, she's outspoken. And her dad is just like stone-faced, just quiet as hell, but with the heart of gold. Oh my god, it's so adorable, dude. I wouldn't mind like a spin-off of that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Every time we get to those flashback chapters of how they met and when they started dating in high school, I was like, this is great stuff.
Hell yeah.
And my other favorite stuff is when her brother, Shuko, shows up for his stories. Freshman, when Komi and everyone else is in their second year. So we see his school life, but guess who else is a freshman in the same class as him? Tadano's sister, Hitomi. And then so we get to see them interact, and it's really good stuff. I always love how the end of those chapters, he's always sitting on the couch exhausted. It's always great to see them build the universe kind of like that in these sorts of mangas. We haven't talked about it yet, but yeah, one of the main genres in here is the romance side when it comes to our main characters, Komi and Tadano. They start building up feelings for each other, but of course this is a manga, so they're both awkward about it. They don't really try to make any moves. I'm fine with that to a certain point. I mentioned it on a previous episode about how Mysterious Girlfriend X, gives us the premise, and it just takes too long for our characters to actually do anything substantial in the series. So that's my one worry, is that we might go that route here for Komi-san, because, I'm assuming since it's a high school manga, we're going to go all the way till graduation. My worry is that the last chapter is them telling each other their feelings before they graduate or after they graduate or something. That's my only worry. It's going to be some minor spoilers right here for the series, so I'd say it's definitely worth reading. Go check it out. It's a fun, wholesome time. And yeah, totally worth the read.
You won't get bored.
No, yeah, you will not get bored. Even like the mundane stuff that gets popped up here is still pretty nice. But so as we enter the second year of high school for these characters, we're introduced to a new classmate who sits next to Komi-san, where Tadano used to sit, and her name is Monbagi, right? And she's a Gyaru character.
Oh man, I forgot what she looked like before.
Yeah, when we first see her, she's like a parody of the Gyaru look. If you don't know what a Gyaru is, it's tan girl with blonde hair, over excessive makeup. That's saying it lightly when we really first see her. Yeah. She has like a unicorn in her hairstyle at one point. So that really alienated her from the class, because she's like, whoa, she looks kind of crazy. And Komi-san, who's very close to the ground, like, she's shocked when she sees Rumiko show up like this. As soon as she showed up, they went to help her, and, Tadano, like, told her, like, you probably shouldn't wear makeup. And I was like, oh, I already know exactly where this is going. We're getting the love interest rival into the series. I wasn't expecting to have one here, but I was like, as soon as I saw her, and as soon as that one scene was like, oh, it's the first time a boy told me I was cute, I'm like, yep, I know exactly where this is going. eventually, yeah, she becomes best friends with Comey, which to me was actually a surprise to see how close they got throughout the series. I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because we get into the second school festival arc, and their classroom decides to do a play, and I'm like, hey, man, I read manga, I watch anime, I know how important a school festival with a play is. And sure enough, yeah, this was one of the big advances for the series here, as we get set up with two separate plays. Komi and Tadano star in one where she plays like a princess, he plays like a peasant, I guess. And, you know, the dialogue is, as we get explained later, is written so that way they could get closer together. And while Rumiko's watching this, she realizes, oh, so Komi's feelings were actually this, because at this point she already developed feelings.
She felt it.
For Tadano, yeah. Being a good character that she is and a best friend to Komi, she decides that, you know what, I have to give up on Tadano. You know, she starts crying over it, and Komi goes to go help her.
Komi found her.
You know, I'm surprised that it wasn't brought up, but this moment between them is the most Komi has ever talked in the entire series.
Yeah, this is the most that she's projected her own feelings towards anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like ever. This was an important turning point for her.
Yeah.
This was whether or not she was gonna just stay quiet about it again or say something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really nice to see her talk that much. Yeah. And then, you know, so they go this back and forth about like, no, Rumiko, you shouldn't just stop your feelings because of me. And then she's like, well, I want to do it because I'm my best friend. I have no chance. Their decision is something I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to manga.
May the best girl win.
Yeah, because as you know, it does get fun later down the line when they both try to start flirting with Tadano. Oh, we're both super bad at this. Most of the time when I see this, I just think, oh, we're just gonna have this run as far as possible, basically, before, you know, Rumiko decides to either reveal her feelings to Tadano, and then, you know, she gets rejected. But that's gonna be in the long run. Just how I see, like, oh, okay, well, now let's play this game of who's gonna catch Tadano's heart first kind of thing. I'm just not the biggest fan with that.
Yeah, well, you know, it has some, I feel like there's some sort, that was a good little, you know, like a point of conflict between the two. Like, it wasn't really anything like, I feel like there was no ill will behind that. Mm-hmm. They came out pretty like, civil about it. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, they weren't giving up. Mm. Especially with Komi, like, it shows how much she's grown since like the beginning of the series. Normally, I feel like if she hadn't met anybody like this, like if she hadn't met anybody like Tadano in the first place, it'd probably be pretty hard for her to say anything if at that point she had to say something.
Oh yeah, like this series wouldn't be happening if she didn't meet Tadano. Yeah. Yeah. But again, I am a little surprised that Rumiko became like the best friend, right? Because there was those I forget their names, but there was the other two girls when they went to the Osaka trip, and they do pop up every now and then. They're like, yeah, so Comey, what's going on, man? Catch us up.
Oh, the one with the glasses.
Yeah, the one with the glasses that has a thing for Katai, and not the one that sweats a lot. It's the other girl.
Yeah, these characters, dude.
These characters are great, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Kataya's like a fucking...
Dude, he's...
A big, scary-looking dude who's just really shy. He's basically Comey, too. He can't really speak. He has trouble communicating.
Yeah, Katai is basically from Cromartie High. Like, that's what his character is.
Yeah! Oh my god, for real, dude. Oh, Jesus, man. Like, bless that kid's heart, dude. He's fucking adorable. Him and his family, dude.
Oh, dude, his dad was so good. Yeah. And then, we find out that he has a sister, and then she ends up showing up in Comey's brother's story, because she's also a freshman. And she's fallen for Comey's brother. I gotta say, though, the build-up between when Rumiko started catching feelings for Tadano was good stuff. It was, the festival arc, right? Like their 4th of July thing, whatever. I forget what they call it over there. But when they were, like, walking around, hanging out, and then, all the characters see them, they're like, hey, Tadano, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Oh, yeah. Like a mom mentality just showed up.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on here? And I like how his sister just sits him down. She's like, hey, come sit over here. He's like, what? No, just tell me over here. She's like, no, get out of your fucking bed. We're gonna have a talk. Yeah, so overall, man, it's
very lively.
It's very lively. I always like how there's like just that one bit with our main characters where I'm like, guys, this is just too much sometimes. When Tadano ends up getting starts cross-dressing.
Oh, this chapter. Oh my god.
Yeah, the latest chapter. Oh my god.
He's like, yo. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, so chapter 250, if you guys don't know, it's been a recurring theme in the manga where it's like the side characters of the classroom, right? You got the ninja guy and the other generic characters. They all like do a round table talking about the girls in class. It's like, okay, like how would a date go with these girls? And I think this is like the 4th time it's been brought up in the series.
Yeah.
And what do we see? They add Tadano's cross-dress version.
What was it? He called him Tadano Kunchan.
Yeah.
It was so good. And like you just see everybody after that fantasy, everybody's just like, whoa. He's like, whoa, yeah, I don't know. He's like, I don't know he could be that way.
Yeah.
Yo, I think I found a new.
I like the end of that chapter because it's after then Tadano is just, everybody's trying to pick a scenario with Komi and they couldn't think of one. So they're like, all right, Tadano, why don't you do one? And so he describes one that they already kind of do when they hang out with each other, right? Oh, look at these fucking delusions. But you know what? That was pretty good, man.
Look at this fucking dude. Look at this fuck.
So they're good. Like, hey man, if you want, you can join us, continue joining us. And they're like, he's like, yeah, sure, cool. And then he says like some line, he drops a line. Hey, we could use that for Tadano Kunchan. We could use that line for the next scenario.
It's just a bunch of shenanigans, dude. It's like, it's Cromartie High with Danshi Kokuse.
Yeah.
With Nichijou, dude. Oh my god, bro. It's so good.
Yeah, because like the other characters that we have in here, right? An example is Naka, right? She's got Shinibyo.
Yeah!
And she's always butting heads with Yamai, who's like super perverted. She's just like, Komi-chan, like I just need all of Komi-chan. Or Komi-kun. Or Komi-san.
I need to wear Komi-chan's skin on my...
Yeah, they're like in the bath together. She's like, can I just touch your boobs, please?
Oh, Jesus, man. Yeah, you got all kinds of kids here.
Yeah, that's, again, another highlight of the series is that everybody here is so different. Like, there's no generic when it comes to the cast.
It's a whole, like, character change for everybody, too, because, like, not everybody used to be afraid of her because she was so pretty, but now, like...
Yeah, plus she's also, like, kind of tall, right? She's got, like, she's very long, like, the long legs. She looks intimidating, right? And then the fact that she doesn't talk to people and just kind of stares at them intently, they feel like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't even be talking to her. And that also adds more to the complex of her being able to communicate with people as well. Yeah. So it's good back and forth with her character, right? Where parts are just memes to like, oh wait, she can't be the class president. She could be the goddess of the classroom. To where like everybody's looking up for her to do something important, but you know she can't really get to do what she wants to do or say because people are just like, oh, don't worry, Komi-san, we'll do it for you. That is all I have to say about Komi-san for now. I do like the moments with Tadano and Komi when they get together, and like it slowly pushes the relationship forward. I know, like in the second half of the series, right? They both understand their feelings for each other. Right, Tadano finally accepts. He's like, yeah, I might be interested. And then Komi as well admits that, you know, she has a thing for Tadano. Confides herself with those 2 friends she made on the school trip. And you know what else was other good moment we didn't bring up is during one of the vacations. I think it was like winter vacation or something. And they go up to the mountains and both Tadano's and Komi's family are there. And then we get to see the moms hang out with each other. And like they both realize what's going on. That was good stuff too.
Fuck, dude, I think I need to reread.
Yeah, honestly, I was bummed out. I was like, oh, man, I'm caught up already. Like, I wanted it to end so that way I'm like, okay, cool, I read it all. But now that I have to wait, I was like,
yeah,
those beginning chapters are only 8 pages. You know, I could do a reread.
It'll be quick.
Yeah, again, it's super, super easy to read. I think I read this in like 2 days. You could just zoom through like the first half, no problem. And you don't really get lost in the story because it's not as concrete as it is in the first half. Because again, it's more of just like, well, here today at school, you know. And it also gets pretty fast paced because, like, I remember when we first got to the, I think it was the Christmas chapter. I was like, oh, that was pretty fast. I wasn't expecting it to get that fast. But now it's it's taking a more reasonable pace, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is good stuff.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that Facebook page. I don't know what it was, but shout out to that one. All it took was a panel for me to start reading it, and then I fell in love with it. It's good stuff. It's a great change of pace. We're over here just waiting for Berserk to finish. Fucking waiting for One Piece to finish.
2016, right? So it's only like 4 years old. I haven't really seen anything for this anywhere else, other than I think there was that one decal shop that has some decals of Comey, and I think that's all I've ever seen.
Oh
yeah. Oh, and I do see on Twitter a good amount. Like, I see more of Comey's mom than Comey herself sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's like Forever 18.
No, it's Forever 17.
Or Forever 16.
Forever 17.
Forever 17.
And then there was yeah, she's feeling old. And that was a good chapter, too, just the way it ended, right? As she teases Tadano. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, go check it out. I think it's a must read. It's a very nice change of pace from what I've been reading lately. And, of course, it's very, very wholesome. And with that final note, we're going to go ahead and close off this episode. You can go ahead and follow us at Unversedpodcast anywhere on social media. Let you know when the latest episodes drop. Give us an email, unversedpodcast@gmail.com. Did you guys check out Komi-san? Would love to hear your thoughts. You know what? One thing was, I don't know why, but I assumed there was an anime for this already, because this is like prime anime material.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, even just for shorts.
I saw people made some GIFs of Comey, right? Because a lot of what Comey does is like her reactions. And having them animated into a GIF, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah, honestly, you could structure it how Danchi Kokosei is structured, right? There's like a bunch of skits per episode.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You could just do that for one season, and then second season is when, like, okay, now let's actually start getting this story structured.
Let's get to the thick of it. Let's get to the plot.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening, guys. And
thank you.
And as always, we're going to catch you on the next episode.
Yeah. Kiss me again. Don't touch my frail skin, I feel brittle and bent. Reptilian scales, Ekans moving like snails, but still catch the tail end of man walking through tall grass. We still dance like Gavin caught in the laps. Kirk like Kirk, the birds are dying faster than blacks. Serve this word, I'm battling these mountains on tracks. Pop the Johnny, my Saddam is gunning for crack. I'm antlion, half lion and man eater. Half preacher, half Anna Benita. Half leaning like Pisa, half eating this pizza. Half pizza and half stack, half causing a gas lamp. Half Dougie and Skeeter, neither. I've been searching my whole life for this road. Up in that bitch in the third and watch me pummel it home. Hated to love it, my duck, it's even dark.